Welcome to How to Be Cool and Use AI. This presentation is mostly centered around beginners. It's basically for those of you who are newer to AI. I'm going to dive into some a little more advanced things, but mostly it's for those of you who are just kind of getting your feet wet. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So what we're going to look at mostly as an overview, kind of talk a little bit about what this current AI looks like, just how the technology works, what you need to know about it as an educator. And then we're going to go over some top tools just to get you started, different applications. So we're going to just quickly talk about just kind of what the current AI models look like. If you're brand new to AI and you're not even sure what it is, it's basically a branch of computer science. It's focusing on trying to create intelligent machines that perform tasks that typically require humans, such as speech recognition, decision making, visual perception, all those things, but it's able to do those things faster, right? And very efficiently. This is Holly Clark. She's amazing. If you're in any kind of educational role, I highly recommend you go check her out. So it says, educators should understand that within the next 2 years, the World Economic Forum predicts that 85 million jobs will be lost to AI. And in that same time period, 97 million new jobs will be created. And this is really important for those who know how to work with AI. So preparing students for this shift should be a priority of all educators. Now that's crazy, right? That all these jobs will be created for people who can use it. It's taken over everything, and educators are kind of being thrust into this world where we have to learn, we have to adapt very quickly. My whole purpose behind this presentation especially is just building capacity in teachers so that way you can guide your students through this crazy time. We're gonna look at the basics. Now what I did for this, just try to make it a little fun, I went in and asked to explain itself. I said, hey, will you just tell me what are you? And this first response is what it said. And I actually, just to make it fun, I used an AI voice generator to generate all these voices as well. That's what it said. I'm gonna turn it up, here we go.
ChatGPT is an advanced language generation AI developed by OpenAI based on the GPT generative pre-trained transformer architecture. It utilizes a variant of the transformer, a deep learning model architecture that relies on self-attention mechanisms. This model has been trained on a diverse range of internet text to generate human-like text based on the input it receives.
Okay, so be honest, did anyone catch that? Because the first time it read that, I literally laughed out loud and was like, okay, teachers are not going to get this at all. And so that was the first explanation that ChatGPT gave to me when explaining itself. So I went in and I told ChatGPT in that same conversation, which you'll get to see here in a minute if you've never used it before, I went in and I said, okay, make this easier for me to understand.
ChatGPT is like a virtual assistant that can have a conversation with you. Imagine it as a really smart robot that you can chat with on your computer or phone. It listens to what you type, thinks about it, and then types back a response, almost like how a friend would text you back. It's been taught to understand a lot of information and can help with all sorts of questions or tasks, from explaining science topics to helping you come up with ideas for a story.
So basically, like someone I saw in the chat says, it is like differentiation, right? I immediately I asked it, hey, can you make this easier to understand? And it quickly, within a second, right, writes that for me in a much easier language to grasp. This one, I asked ChatGPT to explain it to me as if it was a Valley girl. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so ChatGPT is totally this amazing virtual assistant, It's like chatting with a super smart robot on your laptop or phone. You just type stuff to it, and it's like, oh, I got you. And it comes back with these replies, just like your best friend's forever texting you back. It's super smart and knows a ton of things. So whether you're all, hey, explain this science thingy, or help me brainstorm for my epic story, it's got your back. It's kind of like having a genius bestie in your computer.
Imagine you're teaching a lesson on fractions and you type up a lesson plan, but then you ask ChatGPT to explain it to your students as if it's like Mr. Beast or someone that they really love, right? Next part. Okay, so with ChatGPT, it's very important that you understand what it means to create prompts. Some people call it prompt crafting. Some people call it prompt engineering. Favorite things to do is to make sure to give it some kind of a role and just kind of tell it, hey, this is what I want you to act as. So like for myself personally, I might say, I would like you to be a master 5th grade math teacher in the state of Texas. So that way I can ask it to focus on the standards in Texas when it's giving me any types of information. All right, so, this could be, I probably will do a live just on this because there's not enough time to talk about this by itself. Anytime you generate anything, whether it be word problems, a test, a lesson plan, a project, whatever, an email, a grocery list, whatever it is, check to make sure that it is what you're hoping it is. Read over it. Try if it's something fact-based, especially if you're trying to use it with students, you're trying to do something nonfiction or anything that revolves around things that are true. Corroborate and make sure that the information is real. Don't just print off and say, okay, I made a text about the creation of video games and just assume that it's all true and you use it. Always double check. Now we're going to jump into some of the tools that are designed for teachers. These are a few that I'm going to show you. These programs, which are not necessarily all designed for educators, because I know like Canva, is designed and all that, but CurryPod, Twee, Conquer, and Magicschool are basically designed for educators. Use that same large language model technology, some a little better than others, and some do a certain task better than others. But what they've done is they've taken all the prompting out, so you don't have to worry about that. CurryPod is amazing for interacting with your students. One of my favorite features is you can do something called curify your slides. Okay, so curify your slides. So if you already have lesson slides made, maybe you make them in Google, or maybe you make Canva presentations that like maybe slides you walk through, right? You can basically take those slides, upload them into CurryPod, and then you can put those interactive lessons or activities in your slides. So if I wanted to have a poll question right after like one of my slides, I can have that with CurryPod. Canva has the magic writing tool. It write things, generate text for you. It has the text to image tool, so you can have, like I mentioned in the Neil Armstrong example earlier, you can have students can use it. They can generate images based on a sentence. I don't know where my little text box went that says perplexity, but whatever. It's a nickname for it I've seen a couple times called the Google killer, the Google search killer. Basically, think of it like a Google search, but every time you give it an inquiry, like a question, it's going to generate for you like 20 of its top like sources that's pulling its information from. So 20 different websites or so. And then it's basically taking all the answers that it can corroborate from those websites to make sure that it's accurate. And then it's spitting out and generating the best answer from all those sources. It's really cool. And then there's ways that you can save like your searches and go back to them and reference them and all those types of things. But it is cool. I highly recommend checking that out. Twee is kind of cool. It is really mostly designed, at least the last time I played with it, was mostly designed for ELAR teachers. One of my favorite things that you can do with it is you can generate a text, right? Like let's say you want maybe I want a fictional tale about one of my students getting lost in the world of Minecraft. I could ask it to generate that story, but then in the same tool, there's all these other little tools that pop up, and I can show you that in a second too, where you can ask it to generate questions about that text. You can ask it to create like a summary, notes, vocabulary notes. Let's say you have that story about Minecraft and your student lost in Minecraft. You can ask Twee to like remove like different parts of speech. So then it'll give you like a little work activity, with blanks in those spots. It's kind of cool. Conquer is it does like one thing really well. It basically generates Google form quizzes just from a prompt. So if you go to Conquer, you say, I'm a 5th grade teacher and I'm teaching animal adaptations. It'll generate a 20 question or however many question quiz on Google form that you can send to a Google form that's ready to go. and it's pretty wild. You can have it, I think it has the options for fill in the blank, maybe short answer questions, maybe matching. I can't remember that, but it's awesome. With that said, I also want to make sure I am not a big proponent of like, let's all learn all this AI just so we can generate a bunch of worksheets. My job as a digital learning coach, right? Like I'm trying to push teachers to do things a little more outside the box, right? A little more engaging. So yes, this power is amazing to have and use it. Like if you need a quiz or you need like an exit ticket, and do it, like make one. Magic School. So this one, I've made an insane number of videos on Magic School because honestly, I think out of all the tools out there, I think that Magic School is the easiest jump-in point for teachers to just get started with AI. And I'm just gonna show you Magic School real quick. Basically what it is a ton of tools. I'm gonna go right here to the rubric generator, okay? I'm gonna click on that. Now, this is basically all that prompting. If you were here earlier and I talked about all that prompting with ChatGPT, that's what this is. It's just designed a little easier for you. We get set up for you to make it easy. So you don't have to worry about it. So let's say I want to go to, I'm going to stick with 5th grade since that's what I taught for forever. Then here I can put in a standard. So I could go to like my Texas Teaks and copy and paste one in there. I'm just going to do, write a personal narrative. Let's say my favorite memory. So writing about their favorite memory. And then I can choose the point scale. So I'm going to just do a 5-point scale. And if I want any other customization, here's what I'm going to tell it. I want the language to be easy for the 5th graders to understand. Because I want it to be a rubric that they can actually look at and get something out of. So let's see what it does. Here we go. Generate. Look at that. And you have a rubric. Like 70-something tools, and there's all these different, there's lesson planning, there's content creation, question generating, intellectual prep. I added this one last, or recently. This is one of my new obsessions because it really is. So this one, basically, you can create custom chat bots, like almost like a chat room just for your student and the chat bot, okay? So these are chat bots that are already created. So what I love, especially for an elementary teacher, they've got these for younger students. These are these are AI chat bots that are already set up, ready to talk to your students about these books. So like if I went to, I'll just give you an example. So I'm gonna go to the Very Hungry Caterpillar. What's nice is when you set these up, over here on the right, you can actually get a free preview, and I hit start preview. Watch, it'll ask me a question. So it says, what do you think the caterpillar feels through its journey in the Very Hungry Caterpillar? Now I can have it speak to me, and the AI voice
What
is
do you
actually
think
pretty
the
good.
caterpillar feels as it goes through its journey in the Very Hungry Caterpillar?
Then as a student, I can speak my answer back to it, or I can just type an answer. So I'm gonna just say, hungry. Let's see what it gives me. The caterpillar starts off very hungry. How do you think its constant hunger affects its journey? Now let's just do this. This is a perfect opportunity. I'm going to say, I don't know, because you know students are going to do that, right? I don't know. Watch what it does. That's okay. The caterpillar's hunger leads it to eat a lot, trying different foods each day. This journey of eating helps it grow. Can you think of any changes it goes through after eating so much? And so you keep having this conversation, but what's neat is this conversation is unique to each student. It is time. I've got to go. It is past. I said I was going to stay till 9, but thank you all so much for showing up. Thanks for all the likes and all the just everything. Make sure you don't forget, if you're not following me, make sure you hit the follow button and go look for my YouTube channel, which I just launched today, the EDU Tech Wizard. So adios, everybody. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.